Oh man, this is one of the most unique houses that I've ever discovered that I wanted to highlight for you guys on this channel. On my travels in Italy, I went to a city in Italy called Modena where balsamic vinegar comes from, and there is a perfume shop there, Profumix. And I was there, I even posted some content on Instagram there. If you have been following me, you might have seen it. But there I discovered a brand called Claudio Zucca Parfums. Claudio Zucca is the perfumer that creates all of these fragrances, and the name of the brand is after his own name. So there's three fragrances I'm going to talk to you about today from Claudio Zucca. Two of them are extremely unique because what Claudio has done with the fragrances is taking conventional notes to smell like something that's completely different than what the notes are. One of the fragrances, the last fragrance, seems a lot more, I should say, conventional rather than very unique. But three different fragrances today from the house of Claudio Zucca Parfums. We are doing a discovery set giveaway thanks to Profumix to subscribers of this channel from the EU and the USA. So find out all about Claudio Zucca Parfums coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Are you familiar with this house? Let me know. Those of you that are in Italy probably have heard of this house. It's an indie house, I should say, because the brand is, after all, a perfumer creating the fragrances, and his name is on the fragrances. So it's all done by one person, most likely. And the fragrances are all Extrait de Parfum concentration. Here is Benjoin en Fleur, this one right here. This is one of the really unique ones. This is the most unique out of all three, but there's two that are very unique. They're all Extrait de Parfums, as I say, and they are 145 euros for a 50 ml bottle. They're sold at Profumix, and I have a link to Profumix in the info box with a discount code there as well. The discount code is on everything in the store, including the fragrances I'm talking about today. Unfortunately, it does not apply on anything exclusive or limited edition. So check out the store and see all the fragrances there. And as I was saying, I posted some content from the store Profumix, and I was in perfume heaven when I was at that store. There were brands there that I hadn't even heard about, like Claudio Zucca Parfums. So the first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Benjoin en Fleur. So benzoin is a note that I really love, right? It's a resin. It smells vanillic. But what he's done with this fragrance, I'm so surprised because to me, when I wear this fragrance, it takes me back to my childhood when I used to be obsessed with bubblegum, because this fragrance smells like bubblegum. If you're into the idea of bubblegum as a fragrance to wear, you've got to get your nose on Benjoin en Fleur because it's so fun and playful. And as I said, it takes me back to when I was young, obsessed with chewing bubblegum. And I would put not one, but two or three pieces of bubblegum and make the biggest bubbles ever. And that's this fragrance totally takes me back to my childhood being obsessed with bubblegum. So let me show you a little bit about the box, because when you look at the box, you'll think bubblegum. So this is Benjoin en Fleur box. It's a bit more like you're in the space, but the coloring is like a bubblegum. I mean, the color, kind of pinkish, purplish. So that's the cover, and then the box is. This is how the fragrances are stored in the box, and so that's the presentation. And on the back, you'll see the size and everything. But yeah, it's Benjoin en Fleur by Claudio Zucca, 145 euros, as I said, Extrait de Parfum. And Benjoin en Fleur features notes of red fruits, jasmine absolute, benzoin, blueberries, frangipani, champaca, ylang-ylang, heliotrope, cherries, amber, musk, orange blossom, vanilla, and apples. So let's go ahead and spray. I'm going to do a smell on camera. I've tested them out. This is not blind, so I already know what these fragrances smell like. The sprayer on these bottles is also really great. So if you like good sprayers, that's how these bottles are. Really great sprays and really great longevity. And as soon as I sprayed this fragrance, all I got was bubblegum. But oh my god, imagine opening up bubblegum and there's that kind of powderiness there. You get that here. You get that kind of powdery touch. But inside, when you're looking at this gum, your mouth kind of salivates and waters up. And that's what's going on here right now. I feel like I'm going to take this bubblegum, pop it in my mouth, chomp on it, chew it, and start blowing bubbles. This is such a fun fragrance. I can't believe that with these notes, you get bubblegum. Literally, this is like major bubblegum. It's such a fun, playful fragrance. I would call it kind of going into the gourmand direction because in the end, it's kind of an edible food kind of item or something. But such a fun fragrance. I think if you're into the idea of playful fragrances, and of course, you know, you want to find something bubblegummy, this is definitely a great fragrance for you to try. So these are Extrait de Parfum fragrances, and neither of the fragrances are uber beast mode, but they have great longevity for what they are. Again, indie niche house. These are created by the perfumer Claudio Zucca. Let me know, those of you that are in Italy, if you've heard of this brand, and those of you that are outside of Italy, have you heard of this? I discovered it in Modena at Parfums, and I was quite surprised at how fun these fragrances are. So the first fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Benjoin on Fleur. What a wonderful fragrance that is. This is really unique. It's very playful. It puts me in a happy mood when I smell that. And again, as I was saying, it takes me back to my childhood when I was obsessed with chewing bubblegum. And I could just remember chomping on like not only one, 2 or 3, sometimes even 4 and 5 pieces of bubblegum. And my mouth is like really kind of like overwhelmed with this like big glob of bubblegum. Anyway, that's a fun fragrance. Check it out if you haven't yet. I think you're going to be really enjoying that fun and playfulness with that scent. All right, so there's more than 3 fragrances from this catalog or this brand. I actually really like these 3 fragrances, and I wanted to talk about these 3 fragrances with you guys. But the collection is very unique and different in fragrance styles. These are not conventional fragrances, but they're very fun fragrances. The first and 2 are definitely more fun. The last one is more of a conventional fragrance in that I've smelled things like that. It's definitely very wearable, very woody, and it's a minerally fragrance, and I'll get to that in a bit. But the next fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Bois Primitif, this one right here. So Bois Primitif, once again, same price, and these were all launched in 2022. Again, it's an Extrait de Parfum concentration. This fragrance features notes of cinnamon, cedarwood, lavender, vanilla, musky accord, ambroxan, blueberry once again, damask rose, bergamot. Again, this fragrance also takes me back to my childhood, but I was a little older, but still young, a kid. And I remember playing with like Play-Doh, where my mom would, this would be during the holidays when she's cooking her holiday spicy kind of desserts and meals and treats. So I'm smelling Play-Doh and I'm also smelling this holiday cooking. And that's kind of what I get with this one because the cinnamon is so amped up. It's kind of got a doughy vibe, but more like Play-Doh. It's fun. I'm kind of like rolling little long, threads or whatever. I'm building like little strings and things like that, and that's kind of the place it puts me in because I would help my mom cook. I would help her, assist her with things, and I can remember smelling that Play-Doh. I can remember smelling the cooking she's doing, the spices and everything. That's what this fragrance does for me. It transports me back to childhood once again, but again, very playful and fun, happy, and also festive here because we've got a bit of a holiday-ish vibe, and so that's how this fragrance does for me, or what it does for me. So it's definitely very cinnamony. That is really top-notch here. It's also very woody. It's called Bois Primitif, but there's the rose in here, and I feel like rose and cinnamon kind of do something to each other. I feel like cinnamon might have a bit of rosiness under there. And of course, there's all the classic fragrances where they've combined rose and cinnamon. So it kind of puts me in that kind of a place here with this as well. But there's aromatics here and fruitiness. citruses, musks for sure, and lots of woods. Very fun fragrance. This is very fun. And again, as I was saying, puts me in that place of playing with Play-Doh because there's definitely a doughy vibe. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Play-Doh either. Perhaps it's more like dough when you're baking with the cinnamon and spices and vanilla and maybe some fruits in there. And it kind of gives you that smell of this kind of yeasty dough with spices and things like that. Very unique. And if I didn't mention the caps on these bottles, the caps are so beautiful, as you can see. And they basically take on the color of the boxes. I showed you the box of the Benjoin on Fleur. Let me show it to you again. That's the box, and then here's the cap. So kind of similar coloring there. And then let me show you a box for Bois Primitif. So this one, I think it's the right color once again. You know, cinnamon to me is that color. Cinnamon is totally in that color. And so, plus that you've got woods on here as well, as you can see right here. So basically, I think the boxes really do tell you what the fragrance is all about. You've got the color. If you ever see fragrances in color, this is actually very, very realistic and true. So this is Bois Primitif, the second fragrance that I'm talking about from CLAUDIO ZUCCA. Very unique fragrances. Again, if you're into the idea of supporting indie perfumers that, you know, not only make the fragrances and package everything and things like that, which is what this brand is all about, this is definitely a brand for you guys to check out because the perfumer is CLAUDIO ZUCCA and then the brand is CLAUDIO ZUCCA Parfums. So definitely worth checking into if you haven't discovered this house yet. And so the last fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Mineral Wood, this one right here. So for me, this fragrance is the easiest to wear because it's a lot more conventional. But it doesn't mean it's easy because it's like other fragrances out there that are in the mass market. For me, this fragrance reminds me of Comme des Garçons fragrances. This is an uber woody fragrance. It kind of reminds me of something like Zagorsk, maybe with a little bit of Wonderwood, and then maybe a little bit of something else mixed together to create this kind of lightly smoky, chopped woods, wood shavings, woody incense kind of a minerally vibe. So again, it's the same year of release. It's the same concentration, Extrait de Parfum, 145 euros for a 50 ml. And it features notes of sweet orange, cypress, olibanum resinoid, ISOE super, tangerine, bergamot, musk accord, Haitian vetiver, cedarwood, sandalwood, oak absolute, and smoke. So yeah, for me, this is the easiest to wear where you don't have to be in the mood because bubblegum fragrances, you have to be in the mood for bubblegum to wear bubblegum, right? And the other one is not as mood specific. The Bois Primitif is a little more conventional, also very holiday-ish vibe. But here it's pretty much a straightforward citrusy woody fragrance, but you've got musky touches in there, you've got smoky touches, and of course lots of citrusy touches as well. But let's go ahead and smell it on camera and I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Right up top, it's got some citruses, and it's not a sharp, tart, tangy, zesty kind of a citrus. It's more of a sweet citrus. It's definitely very balanced. It's not like a screaming kind of like tart sharpness everywhere. So definitely it's got a kind of calming effect. But you've got the cypress in here for sure. Two types of olibanum, which is kind of resinous, a bit smoky, incensey. And then of course ISOE super, which is cedar. So it's got a cedar vibe. If you like the idea of a cedar vibe, chopped woods kind of, wood shavings, a wood shop kind of a smell with dabs of like smoke, mineral, musk and some citruses. This is definitely going to satisfy. And let me show you the box of this one because it really fits the smell perfectly. There we go. Wood, right? A piece of wood right there. That's what I get with this fragrance. The boxes are so realistic. They're basically, when you look at the box, that's what you're going to smell, and that's what the fragrance is all about. But anyway, this is Mineral Wood, and even the cap here that is very realistic. It doesn't match the box as much, but of course, we're going with kind of like a plain woods kind of a look with the cap. I do prefer the other packaging and caps for the other bottles. but I find that you don't have to be in a specific kind of a mood to wear the mineral wood, whereas the mineral wood can be a signature scent, and you can wear it day in and day out. And I personally wouldn't want to wear bubblegum every day because it's kind of fun and playful, but some of you might, right? That's why I'm considering mineral wood more of like a conventional fragrance, an easier to wear fragrance. It could be a signature fragrance and things like that. So those are my thoughts on these 3 fragrances from the house of Claudio Zucca Parfums. We had Benjoin on Fleur, this one right here. Come on now. And then we had Bois Primitif, this one right here. And then finally, Mineral Wood. 3 different fragrances from this house. Please let me know if you've heard of this house. Please let me know if you've sampled the fragrances of this house. I'd like to find out. I think this is a very unique house. Definitely needed to be highlighted here. This is the first time I heard about it. I went to Aix-en-Provence in Italy, right? I didn't hear about it there. But I went to that perfume shop, PARFUMS, in Modena, Italy, and I discovered them there. So I had to get them, spoken about on the channel, and I'm finally doing it here. But let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. Have you heard about this house? Did they sound exciting to you? Are you curious to get your nose on it? And don't forget, I've got a Discovery Set giveaway for 1 lucky subscriber of this channel from the EU or the USA. It will be shipped by Parfums. And if you're in the market for these fragrances or any others, as I said, there's a discount code for Parfums. It's 10% off. It's a link in the info box as well with the discount code. Just remember, no discount on any exclusive or limited edition fragrances, but everything else is 10% off. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.